Mouz are one of the best Mirage teams in the scene right now for over the last 3 months with a win percentage of around 63%, having played teams like Big, Outsiders, EG, Vitality, and so forth, of course. And the reason why they are such a good Mirage team is that they have a dynamic T side where they don't have any set defaults and depend on Dexter's mid round calling. So today I'm going to show you some of the strats that Mouse use on their T sides. Frozen, who is the ailer, goes towards A and holds for any kind of ramp push. Dexter, who is a player who typically floats around on T side, and this round he goes towards mid to hold any kind of mid push towards top. Exertion, who's typically the mid defaulter, goes towards underpass to clear it. JDC is the Beeler, so this round he goes towards B apps, holds B apps, and then acts as a support for Exertion so that he can clear underpass. Torji is the opper for Mouse. He holds B apps with an op. Frozen, who was holding for A-ramp push, spots the legs of Magisk, who was trying to take control of A-ramp. He calls for a flash from Dexter, who was at mid. Dexter rotates from mid towards A, from where he can line up a flash for A-ramp. Dexter throws a flash. Frozen jumps down from the railing and hits two crispy headshots at Magisk and Sphinx. And instead of pushing towards A main to take control of A side, he remains calm and maintains the man advantage, forcing Vitality to either push some other part of the map to gain information or to make a gamble start. Since Dexter left mid to flash for Era, Torji rotates back from B apps and holds top mid with an op to see if someone had pushed top mid or not. Meanwhile, JDC and Exertion both start clearing underpass together. Torji, who was at top mid, throws two flashes, one inside connector and one on top of A side. He throws these two flashes to delay any rotations from the A side players of Vitality because these flashes may make the A side players think that the hit is coming towards A side from connector and A ramp. Later, he falls back towards B apps and acts as a support op where he holds angles for his riflers who are entering into the B side. Frozen falls back from A ramp and groups up with his teammates at B side, B apps. He then, once JDC takes control of B side, he holds backstab for his teammates. Dexter, after flashing for Frozen at A ramp, falls back towards T spawn, where he throws a nest smoke for Exertion and JDC, who are clearing underpass, so that they can clear top of B shot as well. After that, he falls back towards B apps, where JDC drops him two flashes. Dexter throws a high flash towards B side and then throws another window flash for JDC to entry towards B side. He supports JDC as he clears B side completely. Once JDC successfully clears B side, Dexter plants the bomb and plays post plant. After clearing underpass, Exertion falls back towards B apps. Exertion has a smoke and a flash. Exertion throws a market smoke and then throws another high flash towards B side so that JDC can enter. Once JDC clears side successfully, Exertion goes towards B and holds an angle playing post plant. JDC is the entry in this round. He jumps out of apps, clears side with the support of Dexter, and then takes market control as soon as Dexter plants the bomb. This round against EG, Mouz perform a mid to B split, where Frozen goes towards A and maintains control of A ramp. Dexter throws a smoke from T spawn which lands at the halfway point of mid. Then he goes towards A main and holds a flash for Frozen if he wants to be A side. Torji has a rifle this round, so then he acts as a support for Exertion. He goes towards mid and throws a mid flash for Exertion so that Exertion can peek out. Then he holds top of mid along with Exertion with an AK. Exertion is the mid defaulter for Mouz, so this round he goes towards mid. Molly's behind the smoke, nades connector, and throws a flash for himself and peeks out along with the flash of Torji. After that, he plays around the smoke in order to hold top mid along with Torji. JDC, who is the B lurk for Mouz, throws a top mid smoke. Then he goes towards B, flashes underpass and holds underpass to see if someone is pushing underpass or not. Once he feels safe, he starts to clear underpass. Frozen, who was holding A ramp, falls back and groups up with his teammates at top mid. Dexter throws a flash at aim and then falls back towards T spawn and then smokes nest for exhaustion. Exertion waits for Dexter to smoke nest. As soon as Dexter smokes nest, Exertion smokes top connector from top mid. Then he moves towards connector. He waits at the bottom of connector and calls for a flash from Torji. Torji flashes Exertion into connector and Exertion takes control of connector. Torji then smokes for a B shot crossing so that Dexter can enter B shot. Dexter enters B shot and kills Breezy at ladder room. Then at the same time GDC ties from Neelan at apps. So Dexter molotov the apps and kills Automatic who was rotating through market. Later he holds market window to support the plant and jump spots apps. Exertion, who was inside connector, goes through connector to jungle to market so that even if Dexter misses the kill on Automatic who's a market guy, Exertion is in a prime position to kill the market guy. Once Mouse take complete control of B side, Exertion acts as an instant hunt and goes towards jungle and kills Cirque who was hopping at A side. Frozen acts as a second entry for with Dexter, so that even if Dexter misses a kill or gets killed from any player, Frozen is in a prime position to trade Dexter and get into B side. Torji acts as a support for Dexter and Frozen who are entering from B shot. And once Mouse get control of B side, Torji turns into an instant hunt and kills Hext who was in connector. GDC, who was in B apps, tries to enter B apps as soon as Mouse players enters B shot but is killed by Neelan who had pushed B apps. This round, Mouz gets ready to do a mid to A split. So Frozen, who's the ailer, goes towards A and lines up a nest smoke. JDC, who's typically the bailer, goes towards A and holds for any ramp push. Torji, who's the upper for Mouse, goes towards Palace and takes control of Palace with this op. Dexter goes towards top mid, smokes top connector, throws a flash for exertion to peek mid, then throws another flash for himself so that he can swing mid as well. Exertion, who's a mid player for Mouse, throws a Molotov connector, then throws a nade inside connector and picks up the Molotov that's dropped by Dexter. He flashes for himself and then at mid and then swings out mid with Dexter's splash. At the same time, Frozen starts clearing A ramp. As Frozen is clearing A ramp, Torji, who had an op at Palace, kills the stairs player. Frozen swings out and kills the opper at Tside and Molotovs under Palace. The Hex, who was the A player, does a good job of staying alive. So Frozen, instead of pushing towards A side and taking controls, stays back and holds the angles, holds A ramp as Dexter and Exertion already have control of mid. Dexter, who was at mid, boosts Exertion into Nash so that Exertion can act as a lurk. He kills the connector player who was looking for some information at mid. Then he takes a new angle at B shot and is killed by Neelan. Since they know that Neelan is the B anchor and Hext is already alive at A, Dexter calls that there are two players at A and the bomb rotates towards B. Exertion is boosted into Nest by Dexter. He then flanks CG by going to CT through jungle. He kills Hex, thus trading Frozen, and is later killed by Neelan. Once JDC gets the call that there are two way, he has the C4, hence he rotates back to B, plants the bomb and plays a nice post plant position. Torji, who was alive at Palace, also rotate back towards B. Neelan had to rotate all the way from A towards B, so the bomb had already passed the halfway tick, and hence is put into a really difficult 1v2, which he loses. This round, Mouse tries to contact A with JDC lurking from underpass, where Frozen throws the half mid smoke, and Dexter takes control of Palace as quickly as possible. Torji has an op this round and has a nice spawn to pick A ramp, so he goes towards A ramp and tries to get a pick, but is forced back by a Molotov. Exertion, who's the mid player, goes towards mid, takes a flash from JDC and peeks out mid. JDC, who is typically the B lurker for Mouse, throws a top mid smoke for Exertion, flashes him to peek out mid, and then goes towards underpass. Because Mouse were throwing utility and at mid and showing presence at mid, Vitality players were forced to keep their attention at mid. Hence, Dexter runs through Palace and gets into under Palace without anybody noticing from Vitality. He also spots Majesk jump spotting from Ticket. As soon as Dexter gets into under Palace, Torji pushes through the smoke at A ramp and gets into Tetris with his op. Frozen holds a flash if Torji needs a flash to peek through the ramp smoke, and then acts as a support for Torji because he's at Tetris and holds set stairs. Exertion, who was at mid, tries to play around the smokes deployed by his teammates towards top mid, but is killed by Dupree, who was coming out of underpass and going to connector. Meanwhile, JDC clears underpass and gets ready to uh, take control of connector. Dexter knows Magisk is stuck towards Ticket, so as the hit commences, he molotovs towards Ticket, forcing Magisk to use to smoke CT to save himself, and then flashes jungle so that the C4 and Towashi both can cross safely and get the plant, which is suitable for connector as well as A main. Then he plays around the default box and is traded off by Sphinx when he tries to kill one of the retaking players. Frozen, who is at A ramp, has the C4. He molotovs Ticket and then waits to see if it is safe to cross jungle with the C4. Once he realizes it is safe, he plants the C4 and then falls back towards A ramp. Torji is at A ramp with an op. He molotovs Ticket and then tries to clear jungle with the op. As JDC comes inside connector and takes care of jungle, Torji shifts his attention towards B shot. He holds B shot with an op and finds the kill of Zaibu, who was trying to rotate from B shot. After killing Zaibu, he rotates back towards the apex position and holds CT with an op. As the hit commences from Mouz, JDC, who was at underpass, takes control of connector. Once JDC takes control of connector, he molotovs jungle and takes responsibility for jungle, and for Torji, who can watch connector and be shot with an op. Torji, who was stuck at the apex position, gets 2 kills before he is traded off by Dupree. Frozen, who was at Tetris, repositions towards A main and spams the smoke as Vitality players smoke the bomb in order to defuse. JDC, who was outside of jungle, repositions towards connector through jungle after taking control of jungle. Then he hits a crispy headshot towards Dupree, putting Spinks in a really difficult 1v2 where Spinks decides to save and in the end winning the round for Mouz.